右手で方程式を解き続け、左手で名前を書き、ポテチを取り食べる。
Now, before I teach you guys how to make these awesome potato chips, I want to talk to you about Into the AM. Into the AM is a Into the AM is a men's fashion line that wants to make you look good while feeling great. They just released a whole bunch of really awesome t-shirts with all brand new artwork. Their clothing is super... Really? Their clothing is super comfortable and I basically wear them every single day. Not only do they have really awesome shirts, they have great bomber jackets, sweatpants, everything. Can I finish, please? They have really awesome bomber jackets, sweatshirts, sweatpants, and anything that you can really think of, and you're gonna be super comfortable. And the best part, if you use my link down below at intotheam.com/chefpk, you're gonna get 20% off your entire order. That's 20... Okay, dude, I'm done. I'm almost done. 20% off your entire order just for using my link down below at intotheam.com/chefpk. We good? We good? We're done. Really one of those potato chips. Now, potato chips are fairly straightforward, but one of the most important parts of it is the potato, and you want to choose something that has a lot of starch in it, like this russet potato. Make sure this is fully cleaned and peeled before you start working with it. Otherwise, I mean, you can have the skin on there if you really want, but I prefer skin off potato chips. You can also just use your peeler to create really thin slices of potato if you don't have a slicer or if you're not comfortable using your knife. These work out really well, but they aren't that iconic potato chip shape. That's where a mandolin comes in. This costs about $29 on Amazon, and if you want to pick one up, the link is down below. This makes making something like potato chips super easy to do. As I begin the process of making the potato chips, really, show them the potato chip. I slice a few of them and constantly adjust the size that I want for my potato chips. I like to have these around the 2mm mark, so that way they're thin enough to be super crispy, but not thick enough to really be sliced fried potatoes. As you get towards the end of your potato on your mandolin, please use a guard and don't do anything that I'm doing on video, because this is just asking for it, and I have cut my hand like this before. Once you have all of your potatoes sliced, the biggest issue with them is that they are really wet and really starchy, and we're gonna wash these before we do anything else. So bring this over to the sink and fill it with water. After filling it with water, this is what your potatoes start to look like. You can see all of the starch. So wash your potatoes until the water runs clear, similar to how you would do rice. This removes a lot of excess starch. Now, we don't necessarily want to fry them like this, so grab yourself a sheet tray and some paper towel. Lay out all of your potatoes directly onto the paper towel. This is going to help dry them out really well, so that way when we drop them into the deep fryer, you're not going to have a bunch of splatter back at you. Once you have these laid out, grab another clean towel and pat them dry so there isn't any visible moisture on those potatoes. They should look something like this, where there isn't a lot of gloss or shine on them. I like to roll mine back up into a nice little, well, hoagie, and then dump all of the potatoes out directly onto that sheet tray. You can see how easily they flopped around, and they're really dry now. Now do the same thing with the remainder of your potatoes, constantly drying them and patting them dry. This way, all of your potatoes will act the same in your fryer when you go to fry them. Otherwise, you're gonna have some that may be wet and some that may be dry, and they're gonna cook very differently. Once you have all of your potatoes patted down, you can just place them back onto your sheet tray, and these are ready to deep fry. You don't want to keep these out too long like this though. Now, my fryer oil was a little hot, so I dropped this back down and brought it to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I like to drop one potato chip in to start to see how it works within my fryer, and as long as it doesn't burn immediately, I'm good to go. I like to fry my potato chips until you don't really see any more bubbles forming. This means that a lot of the liquid has finally evaporated from that potato chip, and you want to pull this before it gets too golden brown and delicious. You want this like a light G-bad, not a super G-bad, like a light G-bad. The reason for this is because it will continue to brown. You're almost going to lose a chip, Paul. You're going to lose it. This will continue to brown as it cools down as well. So pop this into a bowl with some paper towels so that way it absorbs some of the excess oil. Now, when frying multiple chips at the same time, you want to make sure you deal these into the oil like cards. I like to think of it this way because really you want to add these in one at a time so they don't stack up on each other. After you've added your first batch of potatoes, go ahead and poke them around just a touch so that way they are fully covered with oil. Cook these to that golden brown texture, to the light golden brown, and once they are that golden brown, remove them all from your oil and place them into your bowl with your paper towel. One of my potato chips decided it wanted to try to hide behind my thermometer. Just make sure you do grab all of these out of the oil. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a burnt potato potato chip amongst all of your really nice potato chips, and you don't want that to happen. Now, once you pull them out of the oil, immediately season them with salt. Alternatively, you can season them with barbecue spice or yuzu salt or anything like that. Now, continue to batch fry these in smaller batches, making sure you don't overcrowd your pan, keeping that oil around that 350 Fahrenheit mark. This is super important, so that way you get a nice evenness across all of your potatoes. As they finish and turn into that light G-bag, you can place them directly on top of the previously cooked potatoes, and it's not really going to make too big a difference. Trust me, we used to do this with dozens and dozens of potatoes at a time. Once you're done frying all of your potatoes, make sure you do season them really well with salt or your seasoning of choice, and give these a good little shake and a toss. Now, the oil can be saved, so don't throw that away once it's cooled down. And this is what they should sound like. Now, since I'm not eating all of these immediately, I do like to place them onto a sheet tray with my paper towel and spread them out so they cool down evenly. This is going to be important if you are saving these for later. But just listen to these potato chips. Once they've cooled down, you can place these directly into your small bowl of choice so that way they're ready to serve. And there they are, the potato chips from Death Note in probably every anime ever. There it is, guys. Some absolutely gorgeous golden brown potato chips. Like, look at the color on that. Absolutely, just, they're so good. It took me all of 15 minutes to do this. I don't like doing this stuff, but I'll do it for you guys. Oh, the crunch. They're crunchy, they're salty, they're not overly greasy, which is amazing. Like, there isn't a lot of grease on my fingers, and that's why I like making homemade potato chips, because not only is it easy to make, it's freaking delicious. Like, they're so good. I'm gonna choke on myself because I can't stop eating them. You could also do things like grab yourself some yuzu salt, some paprika, throw some barbecue spice on them. You can have it however you want. So you can buy a potato for what, 30 cents? Come on now. The yuzu salt is money. That is phenomenal. What's also phenomenal are the links down below where you can pick up my brand new shirts and my brand new merch. I'm really excited about the new logo design on the front and on the back. So if you want to support the channel directly, go check those out. My name is Chef PK, and remember, keep playing with your food. All right, let's eat. This is gonna be, how do you stop eating these?